Hey everyone, this is Beatrix. She just fell asleep. We are going to try to get up to 1500 before she wakes up. We're starting at 1450, so there's no time to waste. Let's get right into it. We're playing 5-5. White pieces. I'm going to still use my knight f3 repertoire, which is maybe not the best if you want to try to win quickly, but that's what we've been doing so far with this speed run, so let's keep it going. d4 to prevent black from playing e5 too easily. And usually they play knight f6. Okay, they take. We'll take back. Gonna have to play a little bit faster, a little more aggressive maybe to pull off this challenge recapture. I like having my queen here when a knight cannot go to c6 and chase away. Having a queen that can't be chased away in the center of the board is generally pretty powerful. I think just recapture is fine. At some point, this rook is going to come here and make black's queen uncomfortable. First, I will have to prepare that with knight c3. This is the type of position that you can get in a ready or a Catalan that looks kind of equal, but is actually a little bit uncomfortable for black because we have this beautiful bishop here, and its counterpart, black's light squared bishop, has a very hard time getting out. Let's continue developing with tempo. Definitely not afraid of black taking this when they're so behind in development. I could play rook b1, knight a4. Yeah, not scared of that. Don't mind giving up a pawn to increase our lead in development. Okay, what do we want to do here? Could do like a3, b4, could do... Feels like I should have a good move here. I'm not sure what it is. Knight e4, bishop f4, maybe queen. Let's just keep improving the pieces. At some point, I want to get a piece on the 7th rank. Okay, this knight needs to get out of the way. Probably not knight e4, b5, although even that is possible because we're attacking there. But maybe just knight e4. I want to get this out of the way so I can infiltrate here. We'll pre-move just to save a little time. By the way, pre-moves are, I mean, when you're playing with an increment like 5 plus 5, not really that important. They're more important at like 1-0 or 3-0. But the safest ones are recaptures because the client will only execute the move if it's legal. So if you pre-move a recapture, if your opponent captures, it'll make the move. But if not, then it will just not happen. So there's sort of no downside to that. I think queen here looks good. Wait, why didn't I play queen c7? That was my whole plan to begin with. And it would have been winning. I don't know why I didn't do that, quite honestly. Does bishop a7? I don't think that really does anything. I'm just going to play queen c7 now. Definitely, that would have been much better last move. I kind of got distracted talking about pre-moves. We still have more active pieces, though, so I think we're still in pretty good shape. But probably that on the previous move would have just been winning outright because this rook would have still been attacked. This bishop is almost short of squares. I guess it has to go to d8. But yeah, I messed this up a little bit. I'm giving my opponent a little bit more of a chance to get back into the game here. I think that is just allowing this tactic. Check. And followed by takes. And we are rook up. The opponent resigns. Okay. 1457. No time to waste. Let's keep going. Let's hit him with a Nimzo Sicilian. C7 is the best square coming out this way. And now it's kind of hard for white to play d4 because takes, knight e5. And we will start piling up on this pawn right here. Okay. I can just ignore that for now. Definitely don't want to take and give white 2 pawns up there. I think I'm just going to play, well, knight e6, b6. I'll just develop like this. I mean, knight e6 is interesting. d6 is interesting. I'm just going to develop for now. All right, so I think I might be getting this pawn now. I'm going to get rid of that bishop because that's going to make this weak. Keep developing. This queen is all lined up now. d6 coming next. I don't think knight takes e7 check is working. I could just take probably. Yeah, possibly I should have traded that first because my opponent does have the option of doing this now, which is a bit annoying. But honestly, if they take here, I don't mind that. I can play bishop c3. And they will lose their ability to castle. So this is a pawn sacrifice, but with white gonna lose castling rights. I don't mind it. So now I could trade queens, or I could actually dodge the queen trade, which I think makes sense because my opponent's king is stuck in the center. Although maybe queen d7 forces it after all. But I think I have pretty good compensation here. And a lot of pressure happening right now. Not really sure how my opponent is going to be able to defend against this. Of course, if this knight moves, there could even be a checkmate. Okay, that's probably a good move. Where do I want to go? Like g4? Where's this knight going to move? Got to be careful. Knight d4 allows queen d1. Knight e5, I simply take. So maybe knight h4 or something, but then nothing else, I can even go in and take the rook. Kind of don't even want to give up my light squared bishop for that rook, but might be the best option. Rook a d8 is something to think about, but then white can trade the queen for both of my rooks, which might still be very good for me, because with a queen versus an exposed king, even though the material is kind of equal, that's very good. Okay, this one I think just drops this rook. No discovered attacks that I can see, because that blocked the queen's retreat. And they resign. So far, so good. I'm not going to not accept rematches in this particular speed run. Just try to get a mix of opponents. So we're at 1465. So far, Bia is not stirring at all. That's a good sign. E4 continues to be white's most common move by far. So if you're thinking about your repertoire, first thing to prioritize is black versus E4. You'll see it a lot, and if you don't know what you're doing, can really get into trouble quickly, because you are playing second with black, and E4 is a very direct and aggressive move, so you don't want to mess around with that. And we're getting the same thing. This is not really a great setup for white because this pawn is very weak. H3 doesn't seem to do a ton. I could do something like queen b8 and try to win this pawn. Then rook e1. I don't know if that's like so great for me. I can also just play knight d4. I like this a little better. This bishop is looking nice. I have the option to take the bishop here if I want. Maybe just d6. Open this line. Lots of options. f4. Whoa. Looks so risky. Just anytime that f pawn moves. All right, I think that's going to be our signal to open the center. Also, like knight f5, e3 is looking pretty juicy at the right moment. Oh man, these dark squares are just calling my name right now. We got to be able to do something with that. Okay, queen takes should be fine. Even like e takes, queen to every. I don't even know what to do because all of our options look so good. I play e takes. I don't know which is right. They all look good, but this gives me the e file to work with. Hopefully this rocking back and forth isn't distracting, but this is part of how we keep the baby asleep. It's all part of the strategy. Okay, just bring another piece into the game. Still looking at like knight coming in type ideas. Okay, that bishop goes back, sure. Let's do this. Just keep opening up the center. And we'll do check. Takes. Okay, if bishop takes, rook takes. Not seeing a tactic. Let's just queen h4 looks very tempting. Then bishop f3. Maybe rook e3. Don't want to let my opponent get out with bishop f3. Feels as though we should have like a win here. There's also bishop e3. Doesn't really feel right. I'm just going to go with my intuition and play queen h4. Offered a draw. No, thank you. So we're threatening queen h3. Okay, bishop up. Yeah, this was probably not the best way for me to do this. Maybe bishop c8, does that work? And we just come up here. It looks very artificial, but I don't know. Let's try it. Let's see. Okay, what does he say? Novelty opening, tragic ending. Interesting. Well, we'll see. I kind of like the trash talk. So if bishop takes, bishop h3, and then if takes, that's mate, and we are winning. So, okay, what are they going to do? That one, I think I can just take and have a really big endgame advantage. Maybe like rook e3 is even better. No, then knight d5. Takes, queen take. Let's just play h5. Okay, we'll just go to the endgame. This is a big advantage. f5. Looks super risky. Oh my god, that was a crazy capture for my opponent. Opening the H file. Oh, baby. Check to your king, sir. Yep, good move. So we can get at least a free pawn. I think that's the best we can do for now. Calm down. Okay. He only has one lethal move, so he should probably move. Okay, so we're up a pawn, and our pieces are super active. Opponent is getting upset. The threat is rook d2. Should I tell him it's a speedrunner account? He does get that thinks it's playing. He does not on my watch. Go away, okay? Blocked? Okay. I don't know if I should say something or just let him keep going. What's okay. So we're just going to make this pass pawn and push over here. And that's game. Because he has to go after this, and then we're going to come over here and eat all of these. Pawn pushing rubbish. Did everyone block? I don't entirely understand this guy's objection to how we played this game. Oh, BB. Not time to wake up yet. Not time to wake up yet. Oh man, this guy's trash talking is messing with my plan. Hey, if you're enjoying the speed run, don't forget we are taking it up to 2200 plus. So if you want to see what it takes to beat players at every level, don't forget to subscribe. All right, back to the action. It's not over yet. If I can get her back to sleep, this still counts. This is how we do it. Okay. What's the speedrunner count? Okay, we're gonna walk back and forth. We're gonna walk. Okay, well, you know what? So far, most of our opponents have been good sports. That guy can't really say the same, but on we go. First 1500 opponent. Let's go. Hopefully, this is like poker, where as you move up to higher stakes, your opponents get classier and better behaved. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Like d4, e6, knight f6, and I think I play a6 here. Trying to play against this bishop, and d5. Interestingly, if you play d5 before a6, a4 are thrown in, it's not good. There's actually a trap. It's kind of too complex to really get into right now, but that is one of the subtleties of this particular opening. Opponent is having quite a think now, probably trying to figure out if that same trap still works. Because the idea is they can go knight takes d5, and there's some action with like rook e1, queen h5 type stuff. It's not supposed to work with a6 thrown in. Okay, they're going to go for it anyway. Now, to be honest, I don't remember very clearly the details of all of this, so we'll see what happens. I think the issue is that at some point, white has a key bishop b5 check move, which does not work here. And I believe it's after exactly bishop e6. So we have to defend this, but we also have to watch out for the e-file, and we certainly have to watch out for queen takes mate, bishop e6. I think the difference here is in some position, possibly this one, bishop b5 check, would have been a problem. This is still somewhat tricky, though, because like if I play bishop e7, then just rook takes e6 is not good for me. So can I go, I don't know what, like g6? But then queen e5 looks not that good. There's also, if knight f6, rook takes e6. What about knight f4? Wonder maybe bishop e6 was not. I feel like I have to have a good move here. I'm just trying to remember what is queen. No, not queen d7, because then just takes on d5. So what is actually my move here? Maybe, wait, what? bishop e7, rook e6, g6, but then queen e5. So is it knight f4? I think it must be knight f4. I feel like maybe I've messed something up here, because I know this line's supposed to be good for me, but this is all quite confusing. Even queen g4 is kind of, yeah, not quite sure what's going on here. I am up a piece, so if I survive, should be fine here. But might not be that easy to survive, unfortunately. Okay, meanwhile, Beatrix is falling back asleep. We're going to count it. We're going to count it for the challenge. As long as she doesn't start crying, I think it should count. Wait, what is my move against queen e5? Maybe bishop e7. Because then queen takes f4, bishop takes c4, and if queen takes g7, bishop f6, that looks kind of good. Maybe that's the way to do it. Well, my opponent is certainly going deep into the tank here, that's for sure. The only downside of this is we have gone beyond my YouTube background, and you can see that I'm actually in my third floor office, which is, the background is the whole point. It's not to reveal this, but you know what? we're gonna get it done however we can at this point. Okay, opponent really does not have that long to think about this. There's also, of course, rook takes e6, but then knight takes, bishop takes, and I was thinking queen e7, bishop c4. I'm up in exchange there, or even just queen f6. Okay, queen g4. I think my plan here was bishop e7. Yeah. So if queen takes, bishop takes, I'm breaking this pin. I'm getting ready to castle. If queen takes, I'm going to play bishop f6. Oops, that was not the one. Whew, that was a tough one. Okay, I'm going to have to look at that opening because I had the feeling I messed something up, but, well, the engine thinks I played well. I don't know. Anyways, no time to waste. We are getting close to our goal of 1500. All right, white pieces. Like the trash talking opponent really made this a lot more difficult. But we're still in good shape. We're like 3 wins away. think queen a4. But maybe knight d2 is also a move. But we were looking to get this pawn back. I think maybe knight d7 is supposed to be black's best idea here, or knight d5 even. But knight d5 allows knight e5, so probably knight d7. Bishop d6. I can never remember the most precise way to do things here. Just going to do it the simple way and take this. Might not be the best move, but it should be fine. Maybe knight h4 is often an idea here. But we've got 2 pawns versus 1. We've got nice central control. We've got a nice bishop. Generally, this is a pretty decent position. Don't really mind this. I'll just move my queen out of the way, and the knight is on the rim. All right, so defending this, but then, I mean, this knight is still in a very weird place. I guess my opponent wants, like, b5, but maybe I can even just kind of look at this knight. Yeah. So this was the point, partly, to prepare this. Typical thing you see at this sort of intermediate level is like these weird forcing moves that end up just hurting your own position, like knight a5, c6. Opponent didn't want to go backwards and wanted to play forcing moves, but the end result, their knight is just trapped on the edge of the board. And we win a pawn. I know there is like creaking as I shift back and forth on the floor, but gotta keep moving to keep a baby asleep. Maybe bishop c7 my opponent should do, and then I don't know if I want to take this because rook b8 is coming in. So I think I'm just going to go queen a6. Just looking at these light drawers, but not yet opening the b file. And we've seen this a lot with the ready opening. This long diagonal becomes an issue for black. So I'm thinking about moves like rook c1, bishop b4, knight e5, and starting to infiltrate into the position. Let's just bring a new piece into the game before changing the structure. So I could just take on b5 now that it's blocked. But knight e5 also looks very good, threatening knight c6 and also e4. I have to watch out for knight c7. Don't want to get my queen trapped, but it does still have a few safe squares at the moment. Okay, I was thinking I can do this here. And then at the end, I think there's going to be e4. Oh, but knight takes? No, I'm hitting the bishop. Okay, we're good. We're good, y'all. So we do win a piece at the end of this whole sequence. I'm thinking I don't think there's a way out though. One of those pieces is going to drop off, and not really anything to counterattack. We've got everything nice and sealed up and defended. Yeah, I'll take this. That's fine. Don't mind giving up this pawn. It's fine. We don't need that one right now. When you're up a piece, don't worry about pawns, unless it's like 5 pawns or something, but it's like if it's 1 pawn either way, it doesn't matter. You just need to consolidate, activate, use your extra piece. Back rank mate is threatened. My opponent doesn't see it. That is GG. $14.89. Okay. Gonna need 2 more wins to get there. She's breathing a little heavier, but still asleep. But we better pick up the pace. Okay. Looks like they want to transpose into an Alapin, which is fine. Start breaking down this center. I can win a pawn with queen a5 check, knight c3 takes, queen takes c3, check bishop d2. I don't know. I'm not thrilled about that. I'm just going to develop and block this pin. Also threatening knight takes e5 now. Possibly. That might be risky to do. Okay, we got the bishop here, and we get our bishop on this diagonal. That should be good for us. Do I want to take? Probably. This pawn here could be a weakness in the long run. This bishop that I've got is really nice. If bishop f4, I might try to set a trap. Okay, so my opponent wants to do discovery. I think I'm going to let them, and if they play knight g6, ooh, that doesn't work. I was going to play queen d5 threatening mate, but check takes my queen. Okay, that's like not super good. So maybe let's keep it simple with queen d5. And if they take, I'll just take. I lost my bishop here, which is not awesome, but these pawns are weak. This is called hanging pawns, this pawn structure with the 2 pawns with nothing adjacent. So it's sort of like, it's like an isolated pawn, but it's like isolated pawns plural, but it has a lot of the same weaknesses, which is I can bring my rooks and start to pressure these pawns along these files. Allowing queen takes c3, and then what's the plan? Queen g4, g6, like rook c1. I mean, I kind of, I see it. I'm gonna continue to play it really conservatively. I don't really want to let my opponent activate their rooks, so let's just bring our rooks into the game first and not allow any counterplay that's not necessary. And I'm just going to defend that without damaging my pawn structure just yet. At some moment, I could also play g6. Bishop f6, tricky move, but I don't think it's a move that does a ton. So I can move my rook. I could also play h5. Does that do anything? I don't really see what h5 does, just like queen g3 or queen g5. So, okay, let's just move the rook. Opponent's playing pretty tricky moves. I don't know if they're good moves. Okay. Something bad happening to me here? So we're up 2 pawns now, so our opponent really can't afford a queen trade. Guess I'll just take a 3rd pawn. I can hear her breathing harder. I think she's like almost ready to wake up. I really need to convert this game quickly. So I would love to like go in for a checkmate. I don't know. I don't quite see it at this point. Gotta keep playing quickly. Let's push. Let's push the pawn. Gotta watch out for like back rank business over here. Yeah. Queen trade. Offer a queen trade. Okay, that's fine. Let's keep pushing the a pawn. There's no more pin along the back rank. This is when you're ahead of material, something I like to think of, put a shot clock on the opponent. So I'm going to say, I've got like 2 more moves until my a pawn queens, 3 more moves. So I'm not going to give you all day to try to attack me. Okay, bishop comes up, takes, check, back. No back rank mate. Okay, d5. What do we do here? Just rook a1 maybe? Or just takes is fine. I think takes is completely fine. Okay, let's trade the rooks. Just make it simple. Trade the rooks, push the a pawn. Resign. Come on, it's over. Love to just have like a really safe king position like this. Nothing you can do. Okay, we'll trade rooks. And they resign. Let's go. One blunder. Okay, might have messed up somewhere there. But we just need one more win. We're one win away. Okay, this will do it if we manage it. Win is +6. That'll put us at 1501. Let's do this. So opponent, a lot of queenside moves, no kingside development yet. That can be risky. Like a check here at the right moment could be disruptive. Okay, do I want a queen a4? Queen b3 maybe? Doesn't seem to do a ton. Knight e5, bishop g5. Huh, what do we want to do here? Just inducing that bishop to come to this square where it's exposed. Probably d takes c5 was a little early. But still, this is all very loose. It's actually the hanging pawns again. Remember the hanging pawns from last game? Same structure, same plan. We're going to try to pressure these on the open files. Bring a new piece in, threaten a discovered attack. Queen e6 is maybe black's best chance to hold the position together. Good move. g5 is possibly a threat here. e4, d4 doesn't seem to accomplish that much. Knight b5, threatening knight c7. Maybe queen b3. This bishop is actually difficult to defend. And I'm also adding another attacker to d5. This must be good for me now. I mean, it's a free pawn, but also those light squares are super weak. Also, there's a very good chance my opponent will play rook b8, not realizing it can be taken. That always happens. Wait, can they really do this? I mean, I could just play rook takes d4, trade everything. Guess that's fine. Kind of seems like there maybe could be something better, but Just trade down, because I'm getting the exchange back. I think I would rather leave my opponent with so I can choose which piece to take. I think I'm going to take out the knight and just leave it bishop versus bishop. When you're up, like I'm up a pawn here, you want to make everything else as equal as possible. So that advantage sort of shines through. So everything kind of simplifies down, but we're up a pawn. And we have the only open file in the position. This bishop quite blocked in by its own pawns. I'm going to try to fix those pawns on light squares, or if my opponent trades, I can play bishop takes e3, get my bishop to a nice square. Always use your king in the endgame. Check. Just going to ignore this for now. Also tempting to play like a4, rook c6 check, but I just want to bring my king up here. b3, a4. a4 takes, rook b2, king d3, rook takes a2, a5. It's good for me. I don't know if it's the best option. Could also just play a4, b4. I don't really want to allow any unnecessary counterplay in the position. Let's just play rook c4 now to prevent that. Okay, we got to convert this endgame quickly. King d3, f4, undermine this guy. We're in a winning position. We just have to keep control, convert as quickly as possible. Generally, you want to improve your pieces to the maximum, so play a move like king d3 before a move like f4. So now I can go take this stuff if I want to. Although possibly that would allow black to go over and take my stuff on the a file. I think it's worth it. I'm getting a lot of pawns over here. I'm going to force the king back, come over here. Eliminate this guy. Should be a pretty simple win. Anytime you can, if your opponent has only one source of counterplay, like this pass b pawn, just eliminate it. It's better to do that than to try to erase them, where like you have your pawns on one side, they got their pawns on their side. Maybe you're winning, but it comes down to one move. Much more reliable, just eliminate whatever they have going. Rook e4 might be mildly annoying right here. Because I don't want to allow e5, rook e4. Oh, okay, one more. Why? Okay. This would be ironic if two trash talkers brought down our attempt. Curious, for you guys who are watching this out there who play, at this rating range in chess.com, like, how often do you get this sort of like flaming trash talking, type dynamic? I don't see it a lot when I play outside the speed run, but we've seen two. We actually have not seen this so far, but is it the 1400s that are the most rage filled? I don't know. All right, the opponent resigns. We did it. All right, that wraps it up. We did it. We made it to 1500. This girl's waking up. Some really angry 1400 players. I'll see you next time. Hey, if you made it to the end of the video, first of all, thanks for watching. And if you want to learn much more about these openings, you might want to check out my courses on Chessable, where I explain everything in much more detail. You also get the Move Trainer technology to practice the moves. So check those out. The links are in the video description. Thanks.